Hi, and welcome back to my garden. Many years ago, I went on a fantastic diving trip with some friends to the Turks and Caicos. Um, and one of the days, we'd gone off on the boat out to sea. Fantastic dive lay ahead. And riffing on that classic kids' holiday line, we kept on asking the boat driver, "Are we there yet?" And of course, at a certain point, out there in the wide open ocean, nothing on the horizon, blue skies above us, deep blue ocean water below us, at a certain point, the driver said, "Ah, we're here." And of course, it was funny because there was, after all the time that we'd been asking, "Are we there yet?" absolutely nothing had changed. He'd just been motoring off into the distance, and suddenly we were there. How did he know? Well, he had a GPS. I say many years ago, even I guess in the late 90s, that was the preferred means of navigation. There were no nautical charts spread out next to the steering wheel. And of course, that was very handy, you know. Left nothing to chance. He knew exactly where our dive site was. And it struck me that wouldn't it be nice as we were navigating our lives if we had something as neat and tidy, something that would let us know when we'd arrive, whatever that might mean, when we were there. I guess that neatly brings me on to the third of my money questions. I've looked at the question of having enough and the matter of whether you would do what you're doing if it weren't for the money. So this week I want to look at the issue, and I think it's a big issue, that we use money as a makeshift success criteria. And I guess that is a big question. Is that what you're doing? Am I using money as my success criteria? Because I'll get it right out in the open, it's not a very good measure. If money is a means of exchange, what does it really tell us about being successful? And yet, I think that is what we use it for, as a very neat proxy. It's not surprising because when you start out in the working world, as you accomplish things, of course, you receive commensurate rises in your salary or in your winnings. And the two sort of go in hand, and after a while, we sort of mistake one for the other. Or we use things that we can acquire with that improved salary or earning power or winnings. We use our acquisitions with that as a sort of signifier that we are somehow more successful. And it's to me, I think it's a problem because it misleads us. And it's telling us, in a way, nothing about what perhaps truly matters. What might that be? Well, if I go back to the beginning of this whole series, I sort of took as my launching point a mantra, a manifesto of sorts, that what we need to do for a truly successful life is we need to find the things that we really, really enjoy doing and do them as much as possible without failing to meet our responsibilities. And so how much money we're earning doesn't really indicate whether we're doing those things. I suppose it does in a little bit. If some of our commitments are financial ones, if one of our responsibilities is to provide for our children, then an improved salary, well, it accomplishes that. But that takes us back to the first of these questions. How much is enough? And I think if I look at those three questions, it seems to me that the first one was about, in a way, greed. We have what is enough, but we want more. And the second was about purpose. We're doing things that don't really resonate with our real life purpose, and we're doing them for the money. And I guess what I'm talking about here is a question of value. And I'm saying all this, and I mention the word values, and the vast majority of people that I know, I mean, there are exceptions to what I'm about to say, but the vast majority would definitely not say that the thing they value most is money. Well, of course they wouldn't. It's just not polite to say that. When I was working at St. Paul's towards the end, at the very end, and I've mentioned this story before, I did an assembly and I posed the question, what would people say they valued most? And it would have been family, loved ones, and health. And yet the way they were working left no time for their family and was definitely at the expense of their, possibly, of their personal health. So people don't say that the thing they value most is money, but their success in life, to some degree, is being measured by money. And if we take the contemporary twist on Peter Drucker, the management guru's what is he? Is it he said? He didn't say what we measure matters. He sort of said what we measure is what we get done, or I forget the quote now. Which is a pity because I looked it up 20 minutes ago, which perhaps I need to start measuring my mind. But people have looked at that quote and sort of riffed off of it, and we've got this what we measure matters, and if what we're measuring is money, then it's money that is the thing that matters. And I think that is what we're doing to a greater or lesser degree, perhaps unwittingly, but that is what we're doing. We associate money with success. So if we're to be successful and we want to measure if we're being successful, we look at how much money we're making, and that becomes what matters. And we say of course, that the thing that we value isn't the money. But then if we really dig in and think about our own lives, well, maybe we have to deal with an unpleasant truth. I mean, I might say, I stopped worrying about money. I took what is in essence a 75% pay cut to relocate to this tropical paradise and do the thing that I really love doing, my art. However, if I'm being really honest with myself, when I'm making my art, I have these little daydreams, these little fantasies, where I imagine selling my art, or when I have an exhibition. Wouldn't it be nice if someone bought the art? And those fantasies kind of snowball and morph into a success story where I am a successful artist. And my wonderful, enormous head that I'm making now gets recognized for being the marvelous work of art that it is, and someone pays tens of thousands for it. And depending on how much I'm fantasizing, the currency changes. But listen to myself. And if I am listening to myself, my sort of inner voice speaking out loud, there's a money thing going on there. And then I catch myself doing it. Because the truth of the matter is based on these three questions that I've now sort of elaborated upon. I have enough. We manage just fine. We want for nothing. And I am doing the thing that I love doing, not because I'm getting paid, because most of what I make brings me no income at all. And yet, I am still measuring it in sort of financial terms. So how could we do this differently? Perhaps an interesting way to look at it is to go back to my mantra. The truly successful life is one where you're doing the things that you love doing. So perhaps what one needs to do is measure that. How much of my day was spent engaged in tasks that I truly, truly, truly love doing? If we looked at measuring what matters, and we measured the time we spent doing what we love doing, and of course measured in a tangible way if we are meeting our commitments, well, I think this would keep us on the straight and narrow of a rich, wonderful life. And actually, if I'm being honest, I have started doing that. I've spoken before about how I track the hours I spend doing sculpture. And I started tracking a couple of other things. And the raw figure that I need to chart is simply how much time do I spend doing the things that truly matter to me. And of course, this can be refined. The quality of what I'm doing and the intensity of focus. But for the time being, the thing that I need to measure is the time spent doing those things. So that perhaps brings me full circle back to where I began this 3 or 4, I guess it's 4 video series. Let me know what you think. I hope this has resonated with you. And I trust, of course, that you are doing what matters to you, that your lives are filled with joy, that you're meeting your responsibilities, And until next week, from a somewhat overcast and intermittently rainy Brazil, ciao.